I thought in part we really kind of traded baskets back and forth. We couldn't really get stops. I thought we were scoring, they were scoring. They were up 3. They fouled. It's tough. I thought Zach did a good job giving us a chance to at least, with Drum and Vooch, to keep it alive. We gave ourselves a chance. I didn't have a good look on the when we were down by 2. I knew they kind of took away DeMar. We were trying to get it to him at the top of the key, and they kind of took Zach's man and backed him up, and we threw it to Zach to try to get him ahead of steam. I know we got downhill. It was just on the other side of the floor. I just couldn't see what kind of look he got up towards the basket or not. But, I mean, in terms of the things that we were trying to do, I felt like we did them. But I thought, for the most part, the execution was pretty good coming down the stretch. Again, we just didn't get stops down the stretch at all. I mean, they scored more baskets than we did, and we had a couple empty possessions. But overall, it wasn't bad.
You talked a lot about Patrick before the game. You made the switch tonight. What did you think of what impact that had for you, and where you all are going with that now?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of times you got to look at the totality of like how you're starting games and things like that, and not to say that Patrick was all because of Patrick. That's certainly not the case. But, we didn't even in the first quarter do a good enough job defensively. Both units, had nothing to do with Torrey being in there and Patrick being out. We didn't do a good enough job defensively. And I think that was the biggest, challenge tonight. We did some switching, mixed things up a little bit, which I thought kind of slowed them down, gave us the lead. But I thought Patrick, for the minutes that he got in there, he did a good job. It was good to see him aggressive. He knocked down a couple threes. He had a great drive along the baseline. I still think he can get to the glass and rebound more. But coming off the bench in the way he handled himself today, he was very professional. He was great. And like I said before the game, he's always about the team.
You said last season that sometimes it felt like Patrick did better sometimes when he wasn't in those rotations with the main 3 guys. Did you feel like that was true tonight, or is it just too small to say?
It's too small because, again, the one thing that stood out is we gave up, whatever it was, 60 points in the first half. And it wasn't even so much the points as much as the layups. I think we gave up like 9 layups in the first quarter, and so I just don't look at it right now through the lens that Patrick was in there, because I think defense has got to be played collectively. And, when we needed to get some stuff, you're going to miss or make shots. That's going to happen, but we got to be able to, and this group has proven that it's capable of being a good defensive team. So, we've got to keep building. And we didn't get off to a great start last year defensively, but we got to keep building some habits, because we always were really pretty good protecting the paint, protecting the rim, and I thought we gave up too much downhill. So I really don't look at it from, just from the lens of Patrick, so to speak, as much as I look at it through the lens of our whole team.
Billy, talk about how you can get Vooch more involved in the offense. It seems like, especially in today, there's a lot of long stretches where Vooch may not have gotten a lot of touches, or the offense, seemed like he just kind of was floating out there. How do you get Vooch more involved in the offense, especially,
Well, he's going to touch it up top. I'm with you. I want to get him more touch in the post too. But when they're fronting him and they're putting a guy behind him and a guy in front of him, it's really hard to get it in there. And I give him credit. He really worked hard to try to get him some touches. We tried to get in there a few times to him, but we talked about that before the game with the way they're going to play post defense and play smalls. They're going to try to front, and they're going to take the weak side and stand in behind. And I think Vooch, every possession really, really worked. There were some times we probably could have squeezed it in there to him, but the other thing too is I think I said this before, you've got to get him off of movement, because if you're just going to run a play every single time for him, it's just they just put 3 guys there and just don't let the ball come in bounds into the paint. So, you try to get him facilitating. He was rolling down the lane. I thought we could have done a better job on some pick and rolls of getting him in the pocket a little bit more coming downhill. I thought we missed him in some of those, but the post-ups were just hard.
On that topic, you mentioned 3 extra guys in the paint. What's the balance of trying to maximize spacing for driving lanes, but also wanting to kind of keep him involved in the post area?
Well, I mean, you're going to basically be running whatever it is actions you're running. You got to have good spacing, regardless of it. I'm not sure I totally understand the question in terms of.
I just mean if you're running plays to try to get Vooch the ball in the block, and they're sending 2 or they're fronting and sending help on the backside. Does that at all take you out of the ability to create driving lanes for yourself?
On that side of the floor, it does, because generally when you're post feeding, the ball's going to be below the free throw line in a lot of ways. Now a couple times we had some high-low opportunities that I think we missed that we needed to get it in there, but the ones that are below the free throw line, you have to skip the ball across the floor, and that's obviously the longest passes across the floor. And when you do that, it's the closeouts back to those guys are easier, because once the ball breaks the free throw line, most defenses are pulling all the way over and they're leaving everybody on the weak side relatively open. So the post feeds need to almost come from the elbows to slots in the top when you can.
Billy, I think you mentioned the defense, and you're right. I think they made like 7 of their first 10 shots, something like that. The layups really stood out, layups and threes. Why did you have such a hard time stopping the ball tonight?
Well, I think that we had Vooch in coverage against Dodo. I call him Dodo. And I thought they really moved us around, and he was popping a lot, and we were in quite a few closeouts, and it was his drives, quite honestly. He made a couple threes. I think he was 4 for 4 in the first half. We had a hard time keeping up with them, quite honestly, in terms of, because we were in coverage. I think once we switched and started switching 1 through 5, that helped us, some to kind of slow it down. And then they got into a little bit more isolations, on mismatches. And I thought both Vooch and Drum in the first half did a really good job in terms of playing defense and trying to keep the ball in front of them. But I think it was just more, we were in coverage against basically their 5 perimeters. And Vooch was on Dorian Finney-Smith, because in a lot of ways, Ben Simmons is like the point guard. He's flying up the floor, and they're using Dorian as kind of the center, So we played in coverage. But that was, I think, had some of it. Some of it, to be honest with you, was just transition, guys getting blown by. It wasn't closeout. So I'm not certainly putting all our pick and roll coverage. It was transition. It was closeout drives. There was not help there. It was pick and rolls. You pick it. It was a little bit of everything. It wasn't one thing that hurt us. It was a little bit of everything.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
Guys, we're over.